meeting in order. For those who care to, please rise for an opening prayer and a salute to the flag. Good, bow your heads with me. Dear Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the time we get to spend together. Thanks for blessing this community. Allow us wisdom and guidance in the decisions that we make. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On the public hearing, I'd like to open a public hearing concerning an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, annexing approximately 1.43 acres owned by Riker Stone and Garden, LLC, located at 7526 West U.S. Highway 60 in Greene County, Missouri. That is Exhibit A in your packet. Welcome, Mr. Tyson. Please give us an overview, sir.
A little bit later, you'll have a bill that will annex 2 tracts of land totaling approximately 1.43 acres that fronts and is accessed by U.S. Highway 60. It currently contains a landscaping and nursery business. It is in the county's general commercial zoning district. It will come into the city as our C2 general commercial zoning district. It is currently connected to city water but has no access to sanitary sewer. And it will contain, because it was developed in the county, it will contain some non-conformities that will be allowed to continue until they do a substantial addition or an expansion to the business.
Thank you, Mr. Tyson. As in all our public hearings, this is time for the public to voice their concerns. Council will have that time and opportunity later. Anyone wishing to speak against this particular public hearing, please step forward, state your name, sign in, give us your best 3 minutes. Seeing none, anyone wishing to speak for this particular public hearing, please step forward, state your name, sign in, give us your best 3 minutes. Seeing none, citizen participation closed on public hearing. I'd like to open another public hearing concerning an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, amending the zoning code and official map by changing the classification of 71 acres owned by the estate of Robert L. Bland, located adjacent to James River Freeway at 7306 West Farm Road 144, from agricultural to general commercial C2. Welcome, Mr. Tyson. Please give us an overview, sir.
Thank you. This public hearing is concerning a bill that will rezone approximately 71 acres from agricultural to general commercial. The 71 acres is comprised of 2 separate tracts of land, all under the same ownership. It was recently annexed, I believe. That was approved at the last city council meeting. It does not have immediate access to city water or city sewer, and will be relying on developments that are adjacent to it to bring those services closer to them. The entirety of the area proposed for rezoning is inside the city's urban service boundary, meaning we can service it in time once those facilities get closer. The development, like I said, will be relying on some of those improvements to come their way. The rezone is conforming to the city's future land use plan, which recommends general commercial and light manufacturing for this area, and the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended that the council approve this bill by unanimous vote.
Thank you, Mr. Tyson. Anyone wishing to speak against this particular public hearing, please step forward, state your name, sign in, give us your best 3 minutes. Anyone wishing to speak for this particular public hearing, please step forward, state your name, sign in, give us your best 3 minutes. Seeing none, public hearing closed. I'd like to open a public hearing concerning an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, amending the zoning code and official map by changing the classification of approximately 6 acres owned by Gary and Bonnie Eisner, located at 4109 South Farm Road 103, from multifamily residential R3 to local commercial C1. Welcome, Mr. Tyson. Give us the overview, sir.
Thank you. This public hearing is concerning a bill that will rezone the southern 6 acres and some change of what is a 10-acre parcel located at the northwest corner of West Republic Road and South Farm Road 103. Water and sanitary sewer service is immediately accessible to this 6 acres subject to this request. It is accessed by a primary arterial thoroughfare, which would be the West Republic Road, and by a collector class thoroughfare, which would be Farm Road 103. The surrounding property includes single-family residences that are located in Greene County, the high school that is across Republic Road, and then a vacant lot that is zoned for local commercial use inside the city. The land use plan does recommend high-density residential use for this property, which is what its current zoning is. The request tonight will be to take it from that R3 zoning to a local commercial zoning, which is the least restrictive, least intense of our commercial zoning districts. The Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend that the City Council approve this bill by unanimous vote.
Thank you, Mr. Tyson. Anyone wishing to speak against this particular public hearing, please come forward, state your name, sign in, give us your best 3 minutes. Seeing none, anyone wishing to speak for this particular public hearing, please come forward, state your name, sign in, give us your best 3 minutes. Seeing none, public hearing closed. I'd like to open it up now to citizen participation. Anyone wishing to speak to anything not on the agenda, please come forward, state your name, sign in, and give us your best 3 minutes. Anyone want to talk to us tonight, too? Okay, citizen participation closed. Need a motion on the consent agenda?
Motion. Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Interesting. Yeah, I would. Actually, I'm gonna let Brenda do that.
Hi, Wilson's Brenda might not know,
Oh,
but we're putting her on the spot with, but on one of the items on consent agenda,
Please, no, go ahead.
one of the items on consent agenda, most times you'll see just minutes, but occasionally you'll see another item or two. Anytime that the city, gets rid of their public documents, they have to go through a specific process to destroy those documents. And one of the steps is to bring those items to City Council, and you'll see in Exhibit E a list of all of the items that are eligible for disposal, and those items are listed under Exhibit E. And just to make sure everyone's aware that Brenda does an outstanding job of tracking those and making sure that those will be disposed of only when they are properly due to be disposed of. And that's something really you don't see it very often, but worthy of mentioning.
And it is, something that, is very hard to keep track of, let's put it that way. There's many things as we do, and there's statute limitations on certain things. Certain items have longer years, certain items have shorter years, but for the most part, that's why you're gonna see certain documents, from 2003 here, 2001, you're gonna see those because they do have different dates on them, and Brenda does keep a great set of records, and her team, and very much committed. But that is part of that, so I just want everybody okay with that. Financial report. Store Guy Rice, please step forward and give us an overview. I'm sure many of you have looked at the sales tax collections. Give us the overview of that one.
Okay.
That's interesting.
And I consolidated it to one sheet, trying to save on paper here, so, and you will notice that we've added another column this time that includes 2007. And for the sales tax, we are up over last year, a little over 13%, so we are still positive compared to the prior years. The fuel tax is the one where we are seeing quite a bit of an increase. Just compared to the last year alone, we are about 58% over last year's collections. So we tend to run, we're still running about a little over $10,000 per month of an increase due to the distribution from the motor vehicle.
That could be from higher gas prices and a population increase too. The population's up a lot.
Yeah, usually it's due to the population increase at the decade, whenever they do the census. So, questions?
Questions, comments, discussions for Laura Guy Rice, anything?
It's always good to bring you positive news.
Anything at all, council? Need a motion to approve financial report? Motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Mr. Krischke, anything? Sir?
Nothing new?
Mr. Derrickson?
No, sir.
Great. King? That's Mr. Jared Keeling, our Parks Director. He has an official name when you see him, just call him
Only
King.
you call me that, by the way.
No, I can't tell you how many people I've told to call you that.
Why did you look directly at me after you said that?
I'm just hoping bad habits don't go.
Welcome, Mr. Keeling. Give us a future community event,
Thanks, sir, appreciate that. Few, community events for the end of April, first couple of weeks of May. April 24th, May 1st, and May 8th, we offer Arthritis Foundation Exercise Program at the Community Center. It's at 1:30 p.m. As a free program and no registration is required. April 24th, which is tomorrow night, we have a Dick Birmingham parent-child baseball, softball hitting clinic at 6 p.m. That's for ages 7 to 12. April 26th through May the 17th is toddler tumbling session number 3. You can take that at 5:30 p.m. or 6:45 p.m. Pre-registration is required. April 26th is Senior Citizen Movie Day. That is, once again, War Horse. That's 2 p.m., free event, free popcorn, and free coffee at the Senior Center. April 26th, May 3rd, and May 10th, Arthritis Foundation Exercise Program, once again at 10 a.m., and that is free. April 27th, May 4th, May 11th, May 18th, and May 25th. Toddler Story Time, 10:30 a.m. at the Community Center. Once again, a free event. No registration is required. April 27th, this coming Friday, Sampler Series Dance Class is going to be offered. This is our second time we've offered that. We do need a few sign-ups for that, so if you know of anyone that wants to sign up for that, that would be great. Mr. Harder has already signed up, and we appreciate that.
Again?
So, he is.
He didn't learn the first time?
He's just getting better.
Different dances?
They call me Twinkle Toes.
You want me to go on to the next one?
Please, Jared.
I'm speechless.
You know, there's just some things you can't repeat. One of them. Continuing on, King.
This Saturday, April 28th, DEA National Take Back event, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That is with our Republic Police Department and Community 2000. That's held at Walgreens Pharmacy. April 30th, Toddler Open Gym, 10 a.m. That's $1 per toddler. May 2nd, 9th, and 16th, Messy Munchkins, 10:30 a.m. Pre-registration is required. May 2nd, 9th, and 16th, Senior Wii Bowling at the Community Center. Pre-registration is required. May 5th, our annual May Day 5K and 1 mile fun run. That is a Saturday. The fun run starts at 7:30 and the 5K starts at 8 a.m. And May 11th, Teddy Bear Sleepover, 6 p.m. to 8:30, 6 p.m. Friday night to 8:30 a.m. Saturday morning for ages 3 to 8. And the deadline to register is May 8th.
Hey, Jared, how many people do you have expecting for the 5K? And the
We have got an abundant amount of school kids this time through a school program, which we are very thankful to have. We're very happy the school got on board with our run. We're expecting around 400 to 500 people this year.
Very nice. I will say that the Happy Feet Run,
Yep.
first annual Happy Feet Run was Saturday to benefit the Pregnancy Resource Center.
Yes, sir.
And they had, I think, 175 participants for the first time.
That's
So
phenomenal.
That's a phenomenal deal, and they raised, I think, $2,200 clear for that particular organization. So our fun runs and our May Day runs, all back-to-back, are doing very well, thanks to the things that you guys put together.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jared. Hey, Chief Lowe, are you in the house? would you like to step up to the microphone and kind of give us an overview of the DEA, National Take Back Day? I'd like to get some more information on that out to the public, if you would, sir.
Absolutely. We try and do these a couple times a year, and the idea behind it is people who have prescription medications, rather than flushing them down the toilet where they then enter our water system, and the water system can purify for certain things, but not these chemicals, so this way it takes it out of our drinking water, and we appreciate that. It also keeps them out of the house, where maybe kids or other people who aren't supposed to be taking these medications won't be able to get access to them. So it's a great benefit. We take them in, and they're destroyed through the use of the DEA.
Fair enough. Thank you, sir. On the Board Commissioners and Committee Reports, Board of Adjustments, May 3rd, Capital Improvements, May 16th, City Councils, May 14th and May 28th, and Planning and Zoning is May 21st. First time in a long time, there's no old business. Mr. Hardy, did you have a question about?
Is May 28th Memorial Day? No, it's the week before. It's the week
No,
before.
it
It's early
is.
this year.
It is, we moved it to the 29th,
Oh,
Okay,
is it?
so, yeah,
I thought it was.
29th,
sorry about that.
that's all right.
Good
Good
catch.
That's Brenda's first mistake of the last millennium. So May 29th, City Council meeting, Planning and Zoning. No old business or any tabled items. I would like to make mention too that a lot of information was put out there regarding the trash. That is now in the process of coming back to council later on this year. So that'll be coming back at that particular time. I think a lot of people thought, well, it's coming back to this next council meeting. It's not. It's already in process. It'll come back for a vote later on. On to new business. Need a motion to have the first reading of bill number 12-35.
Motion.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental cooperative agreement with Greene County for asphalt overlay services.
Thank you, Brenda. Welcome, Mr. Brock. Give us the overview, sir.
Good evening, Mayor. This has been an annual process, certainly since I've been here the last 9 years, contracting with Greene County to have the city's asphalt work done. It's been a very successful program. They bid out the work, and they have re-signed Jernigan as the contractor. We coordinate all of our asphalt laid in place through the county. It is something we've seen a substantial savings on. As I mentioned before, annual contract each year. We also take this opportunity to kind of true up our proposed road work for the year. We pretty consistently are a little too conservative during the budget process. We get the actual prices with the IGA, and as I mentioned, we take this opportunity then to finalize our road work. This year is also a little unique in that we've seen a substantial change in some of our other budget items. Note on the exhibit that, and discussion here during Laura's presentation on the finance, that there's been some changes in state taxes, fuel tax, and motor tax, which we believe will end up with a net positive of about $50,000. And the city also refinanced our cost share with Oakwood, expected savings of about $175,000. Don't want to give the impression that we're chomping at the bit to spend all the money we can find. However, this is a revenue we expect to get. Our street maintenance program is one that we don't feel like we've been sufficiently funding for a number of years, and so we see this available revenue as a chance to get caught up a little bit. We are requesting, in conjunction with the IGA approval, to add 3 streets to our project list, shown on the table, the second page of that exhibit. That's Peachtree from Elm to Rosewood, White Oak from Elm to Rosewood, and potentially Dogwood from Elm to Rosewood. Both Peachtree and White Oak were projects that were deferred during our budget process last fall. We'd like to bring those back into the fold, so to speak. We also have a major project on South Dogwood this year. We'll be lowering water service lines, sewer service lines, under the pavement. There'll be a lot of construction traffic out there. We expect that that road will be dog meat by the end of the project. If the timing works, we'd like to go ahead and reconstruct that this fall and have it paved.
You don't live in Ward 4, do you? No, just checking. Questions, comments, discussion for Mr. Brock? Sorry, David.
Do you have any, timeframes on any of these roads?
We're wanting to do the majority of them in the spring. We have gotten ourselves in a bind planning our work to be done in the fall. One of the downsides of this contract is Jernigan has a lot of freedom in dictating when they come and pave for the county or for the participating agencies. And Greene County then is second in line to dictate where they go. We've changed our strategy, so to speak. We're gonna get the majority of these roads prepped this spring and early summer. They've already indicated that that's the light time, their light schedule for the year.
Okay.
So we have projects in work. J.R. Martin Park would be one. Our alley and parking areas back here. So with the exception of possibly Dogwood, we would hope to get these streets all completed in the summertime, early spring and summer.
Thank you.
And the other thing to note on here, that top item, Farm Road 156, Gary, you mentioned that to me the other day. Well, it's done. So you were perfect timing. I wish I had known when you asked me about when it would be done, but the county, and maybe David can explain this better than I can, but the county was doing some project work. They had the time and materials, so they went ahead and did that work through Jernigan prior to the agreement, but it'll end up being done sooner, which is now, and then save us a little bit of money as well.
Additional comments, questions, discussion for Mr. Brock?
Yeah, David,
Mr. Green, go ahead.
your street resurfacing thing here, you list dollar figures for everything except New Park Road and existing Park Road, which you call Account 50. Would you like to enlighten us?
Account 50 is the Parks Department, and they are footing the bill on those projects.
Jared, how much are you spending?
We have budgeted for that project over there right at
A
$85,000.
lot of that, not all that will be asphalt. A lot of that is rock, drainage tile, drainage
Build with a
structure.
brand new road, I understand.
Mr. Quickenberry, go ahead, sir.
Quick question, a little off topic. When are they due to break ground on the light at the Oakwood and US 60?
MoDOT uses a format where the contractor can essentially slot his construction. They have to be done by the end of the year. They can start at any time, but once they start, they have a 4-month window to get it done. So if they were to start in May, they would need to be done by September. They could delay and start in August and take the maximum time. That seems to get the best bid results for MoDOT, that a contractor can kind of schedule his projects out. So the drop dead would be end of the year. Might be sooner. We would anticipate getting a invitation to a pre-construction meeting probably a month before they intend to start. So as soon as we get that call, then we will spread the word.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, additional comments, questions, or discussion on this particular bill? Anything at all? Seeing none, that is the first read. If you have questions that come up during the week, please call or wait till the second meeting. And we'll go from there. Need a motion to have the first reading of bill number 12-36.
Motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, amending Schedule I, Table 1A, General Speed Zones of the Republic Traffic Code.
Mr. Brock, give us an overview, sir.
We were asked to do a speed study on West Sawyer Road. That's Sawyer Road from Highway West past the McLean entrances. And the concern was there that we didn't have an appropriate speed limit posted, 30 miles an hour. We logged all the vehicles, both east and westbound, for a week, tallied up a little more than 5,200 in total. 90+% of them were exceeding the posted speed limit of 30 miles an hour. Our data collectors did the calculations. The general assignment is, or the goal is to shoot for 85th percentile, assuming that 85% of us drive in a safe manner. In this case, the 85th percentile was 50 miles an hour. You are encouraged to consider additional constraints, the road characteristics, the pace speed, which I'll go into a little more detail in just a moment, nearby development, both existing, primarily existing, but also proposed parking and pedestrian activity or crash experience. Don't have any crash experience out there, but I do want to mention the pace speed. That's the pace speed would be a category of just the largest number of cars, 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. The largest number of vehicles, both directions, fell into the 40-mile-an-hour category. And after we got our report done, we sat down with the chief and Major Watson and kind of went over those other factors, the development that's out there, the park, McLean Trucking, and we're comfortable with the recommendation that we reestablish, or the council reestablish speed limit at 40 miles an hour. If we see additional development out there, particularly on the north side of the road, certainly we'll need to revisit that, but we do feel with the existing traffic patterns that at 40 miles an hour would be both a speed that can be enforced and one that the folks using that road can live with.
Questions, comments, discussion for Mr. Brock.
I was actually wondering, is this somewhere where we're gonna adjust the speed limits, put up signs, and then have to redo it all after the possible development of that area?
That is very possible.
Okay.
Just offhandedly, preliminary idea is they have a main entrance. This is a mile-long stretch from MM Highway to the city limits. The equestrian center has a main entrance about a quarter mile down, a secondary entrance about 3/4 of a mile down, and would expect to see sometime in the future that you will essentially step down in speed. It's 45 out in the county to a stretch of 40, then transition to a 30 miles an hour to get closer to these entranceways and MM intersection.
Will a new study need to be done at that point and all that?
More than likely it would. This is the first time we have gone through this process, so we expect to be a little more nimble. We had some equipment problems for about 3 weeks, but we expect this to be kind of the standard in the future, so that between the speed study, collaboration between departments, and bringing it to council, that we should be able to address this within a period of 30 to 60 days.
Additional questions, comments, discussion for Mr. Brock. Mr. Wilson?
Before the speed limit was dropped to 30, it was 45 out there, right?
Yes.
That was before McLean. And then they went it to 30 because of McLean. So, what's the difference between 40 and 45 besides 5 miles an hour?
From the person that's asking the question with a hot rod shirt on. Go ahead. Mr. Wilson, go ahead. You finished with your question, sir?
There is some discretion in enforcement that I might let the chief address.
There's several issues that we dealt with whenever we reduced the speed limit. That was also in collaboration with the fire department, dealing with the accidents and possibility for that. We knew there was gonna be a lot of construction going on out there, and since that time, we've lowered it to 30 miles an hour with all McLean. That road has been greatly improved. If you've been on that road, it is a very nice road, and at this present time, the road is more than capable of dealing with 45-mile-an-hour speed limit. But as we start, and we don't really know the timelines for what the Eclipse development might be, but as you can imagine, if those are the construction entrances going in and out, the more and more, because McLean hasn't scaled all the way up to its full productivity as of yet, so there's going to be additional traffic in there for that. And then as you can imagine, with horse trailers, there's people bringing in loads of hay or other things, or bringing out things. 40 miles an hour is a manageable speed with probably a good safety margin that we won't have any undue crashes. And as Mr. Brock had mentioned, as we have an opportunity to study this as the development goes on, because I'd rather not react to a bad crash. I'd rather be anticipating what we can do to keep people safe. And so by raising it 10 miles an hour, that improves it, and I don't, that road is, we know what it's gonna turn into.
Let me add one piece of that, Mr. Wilson. Chief brought it up, as McLean. McLean's traffic is gonna pick up. They're scheduled to, their schedule in January of this year was to be up and running at 25% at the end of the first quarter, 50% by the end of Q2, which is the end of June, 75% by the end of Q3, which is the end of September, and then 100% up and running by the end of this year. So as they ramp up in those, and that's exactly the process they're following right now, as they ramp up, that truck traffic will pick up. I noticed too, in the particular study here, I think there was 62 trucks tractor trailers accounted for 2.6% of the classified vehicles in the study. However, as we go forward with that, I have a feeling that tractor trailer traffic is gonna increase as McLean increases their business and they get up and running a little bit further beyond. They're only at 25% right now, so 62 trucks or whatever it was for the time of that study, multiply that by 4 and probably get a good estimate of where we're gonna be. Additional questions, comments, discussion on this particular item?
I had one, just kind of for my own edification. I'm often surprised how expensive this stuff is. What's a speed limit sign cost to put up?
We generally try to reface an existing sign, which runs about $30. If we have to buy the blank and the facing, they run about $50.
Good questions. Anything else, council? First read. Do you have anything between now and the second reading, for clarification, please ask Mr. Brock or ask at the next meeting. On to the next item on the agenda. Need a motion to have the first reading of bill number 12-37.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, annexing approximately 1.43 acres owned by Richard Stone and Garden LLC, located at 7526 West US Highway 60 in Greene County, Missouri.
Welcome, Mr. Tyson. Please give us an overview, sir.
Thank you. And just for your own edification, Brenda had it correctly, it's Richard. A lot of people call it Riker, but it's actually Richard Stone and Garden. I'd just like to mention one thing in addition to what I said earlier. One difference between this annexation and most of the annexations we bring to council is this is actually an annexation where we are evoking and acting on an irrevocable consent to annex that this property owner signed at the time that they hooked up to the city's water system. Originally, this business owner's plan was to develop and remain in Greene County, and they intended to use the Alpine Village water system as their water source. As they began to build and develop, they later realized that that was not going to be a possibility, and so they came to the city requesting that we give them service. In exchange, we required them to give us this irrevocable consent to annexation, basically saying that at any time the city can, if they choose, pull the trigger on this annexation, which is what this bill will be doing.
Questions, comments, discussion for Mr. Tyson? Anything at all? This is the first read. If there's any questions or comments between now and the second reading, please give it Mr. Tyson or stay for the next meeting. Thank you, Mr. Tyson. Need a motion to have the first reading of bill number 12-38. Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, amending the zoning code and official map by changing the classification of approximately 71 acres owned by the estate of Robert L. Blanton, located adjacent to James River Freeway at 7306 West Farm Road 144 from agricultural AG to general commercial C2.
Thank you, Brenda. Mr. Tyson, give us the overview, sir.
In addition to what I mentioned earlier, and I'll be glad to answer questions or repeat any of that again if you'd like me to, but this, if you look at the maps attached to your exhibit, this bill will be rezoning the larger of these two tracts. One is a 5-acre tract that has no direct access to a public thoroughfare. The larger tract, about 65 acres, is bisected by the James River Freeway. This will be rezoning both the southern and northern parts of that parcel. It is one parcel that was divided almost in half when the freeway went through there. The southern part is directly accessed by South Farm Road 97, the northern part directly accessed by West Farm Road 144.
Thank you, sir. Questions, comments, discussion?
What do they
Mr.
plan
Kessler?
what do they plan to do with the property?
I believe the application stated that the southern part of the property line south of James River Freeway would be used for a recreational vehicle facility. It'd be associated with the Eclipse development.
Additional questions, comments, discussion? Mr. Groots?
Yes, sir.
Right ahead.
On the tract one where it's bisected, the map shows the northern part coming in as C2 and the southern part is local commercial, which I assume is C1. Is that correct? Because, am I seeing something wrong?
I think you're,
Okay, I'm maybe I'm slightly colorblind.
the northern part would be manufacturing and industrial, light industrial.
There you
The
go.
southern part would be general commercial, and then that small 5-acre piece would be also light
Am I missing
industrial.
something in the text? Is the northern part already light manufacturing?
No, sir. It is agricultural. I think I understand, maybe.
I guess in the description or in the ordinance, I don't see anything mentioning the light manufacturing. That's why I'm wondering why it's showing that on the map.
That's a representation from the future land use plan, what it recommends
Okay.
for the property,
Alright.
but it's not what's being
Right
proposed.
now, it's all coming in as C2.
That's correct.
Okay. That's correct. That's what I was trying to clarify. So, thank you.
Just for everybody's clarification purposes, the land use plan is a guide that we use through a transportation plan as well. But the land use plan and the transportation plan have been put together just with general guidelines of what future future growth, future annexations, future, things like this will look like, future zoning. So those sometimes are used as guides. He'll put those on there as he did in this case as a land use plan. Otherwise, it would have probably been blank. So that's why we use those on there, so it's a good question to ask, and I'll make sure everybody's clear on that clarification. All right, additional questions, comments, discussion?
For
Go ahead,
Mr.
sir.
Casagran's benefit, although the applicants generally do indicate a proposed use for a rezone request, just because they indicate that they intend to do one thing, once the rezone is approved, they will be allowed to do anything that is allowed in the
Within
general
that zone.
commercial district.
Okay,
And also anything allowed, in this case, in the local commercial district.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Additional questions, comments, discussion? Anything at all? This is first reading, council. If there's other additional questions or items that pop up, please ask or get a clarification from Mr. Tyson or wait till the second reading. Need a motion of the first reading of bill number 12-39.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, amending the zoning code and official map by changing the classification of approximately 6 acres owned by Gary and Bonnie Iser, located at 4109 South Farm Road 103, from multifamily residential R3 to local commercial C1.
Thank you, Brenda. Mr. Tyson, give us the overview, sir.
in addition to what I mentioned earlier, there will be a portion of this 10-acre parcel that is not subject to this rezone request. It is only a portion of this property that will be rezoned by this bill. Those 6 acres lying on the southern part adjacent to West Republic Road. The remainder of the parcel will remain within the R3 multifamily district. And you'll notice that in the staff recommendation that we say that this is generally conforming to the land use plan, and I also mentioned that the land use plan says that this should be multifamily residential, which it currently is. The request to go from multifamily to local commercial is my opinion, not a substantial leap. Certainly, you could argue that most of the local commercial uses would lead to lower traffic volumes potentially than a multifamily housing development, but then there's also the trade-off of probably more commercial traffic, commercial truck traffic that comes through there. The two are comparable enough, I thought, and given the surrounding areas and what's recommended there for notice that a lot of yours is just a black square. It should actually look like this. And it indicates general commercial uses being appropriate surrounding this area, as well as local commercial uses all around this intersection, and then institutional uses on the other side of West Republic Road.
Printer did not like you, did it, Gary?
No, it didn't. Didn't like Brenda, to be
Never liked her. Mr. Grooms, you have a question, sir?
This is still the same parcel, it's just going to have 2 different zoning classifications?
Yes, sir.
Is that normal?
I wouldn't say it's normal, but it's possible. Nothing
I've seen it.
nothing wrong with it, so to speak. We have some of those in the city.
Okay.
There's a few of those around. Additional questions, comments? Go ahead, sir.
Such as?
I can't think of one off the top of my head. There was one out, I think, by the school district.
The Republic Commons subdivision has several lots that are 2 parts zoning, some general commercial, some local commercial.
The original Terra Creek had a ton of those.
That was a PDD. That's what I'm asking, is it just looks like a PDD without going through the process of the PDD?
It's unique, to say the least.
Podium.
They would be
Gail
allowed
says that, I know.
intermingle 2 uses,
You're
like
gonna
they
get
would
an
in
answer.
a PDD.
Let me say, there's not a problem with this.
No, I'm just
Yeah,
asking because
yeah.
I've never seen, I mean,
Yeah.
So it's
unique.
Usually
you-
more than just 2 uses.
Yeah, and usually someone will come up with one tract and want it all the same zoning, but there's no as long as the legal description defines what is one zoning classification as opposed to the other zoning classification, there's no problem the same owner doing that.
They've made the correct divisions between what would be considered commercial because of the depth and size of their property. It'd be a little difficult to think that commercial would go that far back, and multifamily zoning is always a good buffer between what you would consider to be your residential zoning districts and your commercial zoning districts. So it really, it does seem to make sense, and Republic Road certainly is changing. It's changing down in Battlefield. It'll be changing with the high school. That's going to be more of a commercial road in the future. So it appears to make good common sense for planning.
It also borders on 2 major roads there, so they have access coming off of the farm road too.
Additional comments, questions? Anything at all? This is the first read. If you have questions or comments in between now, please get clarification from Mr. Tyson. Anything else on that? Okay. Thank you very much. On to other business. Resolution discussion, resolution number 12-R-17, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, concerning the appointment of municipal judges and the municipal presiding judge, and authorizing the city administrator to take the necessary action to implement the appointments. Need a motion? Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Thank you, Mr. Krischke. Please give us the overview, sir.
Okay, well, this is the 2-year cycle that we're on that city code, requires us to bring the appointment of judges back to the council. Nothing has changed since the last time. We still have Judge Hager as our main municipal judge, and then in times where he's out ill or on vacation or what have you, and we need to bring in a substitute judge, we have a list of others that are able and willing to serve in his place, and those would be Andy Brown, Ken Johnson, and Ryan Ricketts. And Ron could really address any questions you have about their qualifications, but certainly they've filled the need very well for us, so we're just asking that we appoint those for a 2-year term.
Questions, comments, discussion for Mr. Krischke or Mr. Derrickson? Anything at all? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Need a motion to go into executive session under RSMO 610.021.1.
Motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, oh, it's a roll call, roll call vote. And before you get the roll call vote, want to make sure that everybody understands no further action is set before city council after we adjourn out of executive session. The meeting is adjourned. There's nothing else on the agenda. We've covered all the open session agenda items, just to let everybody know that. That way everybody's up front. We're transparent with what we do. Once we have finished executive, we adjourn, we're done. Nothing else can be discussed. All right, roll call vote.
Councilmember Harrelson?
Aye.
Councilmember Poole? Aye. Councilmember Cassavant?
Aye.
Councilmember Harder?
Aye.
Councilmember Brashears?
Aye.
Councilmember Groom?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilson?
Aye.
Councilmember Clinking-Beard?
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0.